Hi and hello. My name is Cass, and welcome to my channel where I read a lot of books and I talk about them. Um, it is June. Well, it is not only is it midnight, it is June 8th, technically. As I film this May wrap up video. Your girl did not have time to film anything last week. I barely had time to film anything this week. But after I have taken a long nap instead of record earlier, we're gonna do this now. So, alright, well, obviously May is over by like a week. So let's talk about the books I read in May. So technically I got through 15 books this month, which, you know, I did not expect that given I set my expectations so low with like all of 6 books. But let me tell you, I was consumed by one series in particular. We'll get there. Obviously, a fair amount of that number I didn't talk about on my TBR because I kept the number to like 6 since I was traveling, so lots of new books to talk about today. Also, despite the fact that I only read 15 books in May, I'm going to be talking about 16. Spoiler alert, I didn't finish Ashes in the Star-Cursed King until June. I think I finished it a couple days ago. But that being said, I did finish it before I recorded this, and so I'm just going to talk about the duology like as a whole. For that one, plus the, novella that I read. But anyway, with all of that exposition over with, let's get into it. So the first 2 books that I read this month were the Letters of Enchantment duology, Divine Rivals and Ruthless Vows, both by Rebecca Ross. This duology is set in a world where there is a divine war happening between 2 gods, and humans are caught in the middle. Iris Winnow is the protagonist, and she is a young woman whose brother has been called to serve Enva, who is a goddess, against Dakre, I think it's pronounced, and Dakre is trying to find Enva. She is currently competing for the job of as a columnist against her rival, Roman C. Kit. However, surprisingly, that plotline does not last terribly long. Iris ends up being a war correspondent on the front lines, and she and Kit also, talk through these magical typewriters that they have that let them, send letters through wardrobes. I love this duology. It was so sweet. It doesn't shy away from the horrors of war, and it seems to draw, parallels to World War II, with, trenches and, gas bombing described. But the romance in the middle of it all is so captivating and so sweet. It really makes you root for Roman and Iris as they, try to get through the war that's, tearing their world apart and tearing them apart. Also, I think the lore is really interesting. I definitely wish there was more to that. I know, obviously, that wasn't the point. This is mostly a romance, but I would have liked more context on the gods to explain, some later things that come up in book 2. But overall, I gave both of these books 4.5 stars. Then I picked up a new book, Half a Soul by Olivia Atwater. This is a romance novel, part of a series of interconnected standalones called the Regency Fairy Tales series. It seems like all of them involve the Fae, somehow or another, but I've only read this one so far. I might pick up the others, I haven't decided yet, but I did really like this one. Half a Soul is about Theodora, who goes by Dora. When she was little, half of her soul was taken from her by a Fae who said that her mother promised her whole soul to him. This results in Dora being prone to, letting her thoughts wander, she struggles to focus, and her feelings are dulled overall. Years later, thanks to her cousin Vanessa, Dora, and Dora's aunt go to London to get Vanessa married. Dora ends up meeting the Lord Sorcier, I think it's pronounced. His name is Elias. He is England's royal magician. Elias is kind of a piece of work at first. He's super rude, But Dora isn't bothered by him, partially because her feelings are kind of like stunted in a lot of ways. And she also keeps up with him well. She snipes back at him, and he's very shocked by that. And eventually he starts to look into her quote-unquote condition to, like, try and help her. I feel like I'm not doing, like, all the intricacies justice in my description. I also think you should just go read this book for yourself. It's lovely. I loved almost all the characters, but especially Elias and Dora. They were really just fantastic for each other. I love their dynamic, and I love that this, like, Regency set novel doesn't shy away from some of, like, the most horrific parts of Regency England, because it wasn't, you know, all that romance, like, kind of brushes off. Like, this talks about the workhouses and how the rich genuinely saw the poor as, like, having some inherent lack of something that they needed to be punished for because they were poor. I also really like the reality of things, like, it couldn't just be fixed by them, but they were making every effort to help who they could and provide refuge and to push changes through as much as they could. This was a really great book, and I am glad I bought it. I gave it 4.5 stars. On the other side of things, another one of my newly bought books, I read Arcane Inheritance by Camilla Cole. This is the same author as one of the duologies I have on my list this summer, so I thought, why not try another one of her books? This book is about Ellery. She is a young black woman who is entering the fictional Warren University as a freshman at 21 years old. Because she's so much older than most of her peers, she feels really out of place. On top of the fact that she is a scholarship student among, like, many rich snob students who, like, you know, paid their way in. However, weird things start to happen to her on campus, and she seems to be, like, gaining and losing memories constantly. So she is trying to figure out why, and she recruits her rival, Hudson Graves, to help her as they try to get to the bottom of this. This book was fine. I wish I felt more either way about it, but truthfully, it was just kind of meh for me. I felt like it was trying to do too much, and then it kind of fell short on everything. The romance was cute, but you didn't really see any sort of a resolution until the end, and even that was changed by the ending. The mystery was present, but not, like, super engaging, and the magic system wasn't, like, at all explained. Usually I'm cool with soft magic systems, but it didn't really make any sense as to how it worked, except, like, apparently you have to give up memories to cast spells for some reason. I don't really get why. It never explains anything about it. And the ending was kind of odd. It just overall was really meh for me. Like, the aesthetics were cool. I liked Ellery as a protagonist, but yeah, overall not a win. I gave it 3.5 stars. It's not bad. It's not good either. Next up, oh dear. We've got Morning Glory Milking Farm by C.M. Nacosta. What do I say about this book? How do I even talk about it? If you ever questioned whether my channel was child friendly, here's your answer. It's not. Yeah. So, this is a monster romance book between a human and a minotaur who meet at a milking farm. The main character, Violet, joins as a milking technician because she needs money, thanks to being a new grad with a lot of student debt, which, yeah, relatable. Through this, she meets Rourke, who is a recently divorced minotaur who comes by regularly. And over time, the two form a relationship. I blame my best friend for this, and Shane from Smosh. But despite the premise, and, you know, it's erotica, but it's surprisingly wholesome, which is not something I thought I'd say going into this book. But yeah, Violet and Rourke have a relationship built on mutual respect. Like, Violet has a good head on her shoulders, and they're very cute. They, you know, have actual productive adult conversations. There's no like the hardest thing for them is them getting together. That's the thing that takes the longest in that relationship. Um, there's like a town that this all kind of takes place in that's super cute. Um, that I assume the rest of the series also kind of takes place in. But yeah, it was very fun. I will probably read the rest of the series eventually. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. I heard the Minotaurs unionize in the sequel. So, I gave it 4.5 stars because it was entertaining. Okay, leave me alone. A sudden and massive entry that I don't think anyone saw coming, especially not me. But I ended up reading the entire Heaven Official's Blessing series. The English translation is in 8 volumes. And alongside the story, they added all the extra stories that wrote. This is my deluxe hardcover version of the 8th book. I just picked this one because I only own 4 through 8, so I just was like, I'll just grab the last one. I'm working on it though, but I'm gonna buy the first 3 in the deluxe hardback versions. I want the whole series in the pretty ones, because I love this. Spoiler. I love this series. Anyway, so this series is about, I'm gonna apologize in advance and hope that I don't brutalize all of these names. I've watched the donghua of this, but I don't know how much that's gonna help me. But the series is about Zhe Lian. He is a god who has ascended to heaven for the 3rd time. This causes a bit of a ruckus, and he ends up with a debt that he goes on a mission to pay off. Of course, this one mission just like kicks off the whole story as things inevitably get more complicated. Along the way, Zelion meets the mysterious Hua Cheng, who he is otherwise known as the Crimson Rain-Sought Flower. He is an incredibly powerful ghost king who seems really dedicated and caring to only Zelion. This series is a lot. That description is really the best I can do without like spoiling things. But it really doesn't capture the entire intricate story. Like, there's so many, like, small things that come back later, plot lines that come back to be fully explained later. There's so much here. It reads pretty easy. The books, all come with art, within, like, the pages and everything. Even, like, of course I have the pretty hardback versions, but, like, even, like, the regular ones come with, like, art in the pages, which is super fun. It's all just gorgeous. Some of it's like really cute and chibi and like funny, and then you get to the next one, and it's the most beautiful piece of art you could have expected. It's like, whoa, okay. The style of writing is sometimes a little odd to me. Primarily, there's like semi-frequent like full stops of the main story to go back and have flashbacks and stuff. Primarily the 3rd book is the first like 3/4 of the 3rd book, and like the latter 3/4 of the 6th book are just all an extended flashback, and it took me out so hard that I like we went back to the main story and I went, what's happening? So that's a little odd to me, but like it wasn't anything I couldn't like get used to. And also like this is the first Chinese novel that I've read. So I don't know if that's typical of like the Danmei. What's the other term? Danmei is the one that's like focused on the love between 2 guys, and there's another term. Oh, wuxia. Or Zanzia. I don't know if this is the like extended flashback thing is like typical of any of those genres, or if it's like just a Chinese writing style thing. It doesn't matter to me really at the end of the day. It just makes me curious. I love this series so much. I love like no spoilers. It's Danmei, which is love between 2 men. I love like sweet and like eventually romantic relationship between Zhe Lian and Hua Cheng. But also, I really liked that it wasn't like the centerpiece. Like, don't get me wrong, the relationship was super important to the overall storyline, but it wasn't like everything. It was just kind of like something that was also happening while all the crazy stuff was happening. There's so much going on besides that one thing. It's really just one piece of the puzzle of these like books. Except in the side stories, the extra stories that come after. Then it's the main focus, which is ideal. But yeah, there's like, it's action, it's tragedy, there's all this history of so many characters that are like intertwined. And then you've got their slow romance just happening in the background. I don't, how long can Cass talk about this series? Because I really, really loved it. I do not have the words to fully explain how amazing I thought this entire thing was. It was just so good. I gave the overall, like, series, obviously, 5 stars. Alright, here's a book I almost forgot that I read. Animal Farm. I read Animal Farm. I don't have anything written for this in my script because I frankly apparently forgot that I read it, which is, listen, it's not Animal Farm's fault. I followed up Animal Farm with Heaven Official's Blessing, and that just wiped out like everything else that I had read before or wanted to read after. The obsession is real. Anyway, I read Animal Farm by George Orwell on the plane. It's really short. It's like under 150 pages. I read the whole thing on the plane ride to New York. I mean, what to say about this? It's good. It is a classic for a reason. You know why I didn't remember? I forgot to put it in my read list. In my spreadsheet, I have a list of all of the books that I've read, so I can keep track of, like, the dates that I read them and, like, the star rating I gave them. I didn't even put it in there. Wow, I am so sorry to George Orwell. Whoops. Yikes. I'll add this, I guess. So I don't know. This took me like a day to read. I don't remember how many stars I gave it. Probably like 4. But yeah, it's a modern fairy tale. Or not really a fairy tale. Like a, oh, what are they called? The moral tales. It's one of those. It is unfortunate how relevant it is to this day. Especially when it was written as, like, being against, like, dictatorships. And it was specifically written, like, as a warning against what Stalin was doing. And now it can very easily be applied to the current capitalistic society that we live in the United States. So, hate that for us. But yeah, it was good. I think I gave it 4 stars. I can't remember, but I did read it. So, this month, of course, I'm going into my little dystopian series, so, you will not be alone, Animal Farm. Alright, here is another one, that I never wrote anything in the script for, so we're just gonna go for it. We're gonna just talk about it. So, I then read the first duology in the Crowns of Nyxia series, which is The Serpent and the Wings of Night, and Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. I didn't finish Ashes and the Star-Cursed King until like the first week of June, but we're just putting it all together in this one because I like to talk about duologies together. I, of course, also read 6 Scorched Roses, which is like a novella that takes place in between the two. But yeah, so these 2 books focus on Oriah, I think. It's either Oriah or Oira. But she is the human daughter of the king of the Nightborn, who is a vampire. And the Nightborn are all vampires. There are 2 types of Nightborn vampires. There are the Hijah and the Rishan. Her father, Vincent, is a Hijah, and he's been in power for like 200 years. So Oira enters this competition called the Kajari, where vampires from all over the land come and participate, because if you win, you get a gift or a favor from the goddess of the vampires herself, Nixia. Which is a big deal, but the consequence is that out of however hundreds of people or vampires come to compete, only one of them lives. Because, you basically kill each other to, win, or the trials kill you. It's a trial thing. So she goes into this so that she can wish to become essentially a vampire, without the dangers of becoming turned. So she goes in and she starts competing, and through this she meets Rain, who is a Rashan vampire who she ends up forming an alliance with. When I first talked about these books in my TBR, I was like, why would you ally with this man who has it out for your father? But, it makes a lot more sense, in the book. The summary did not do that justice. Not at all. But she ends up allying with him and his friend named Mish, I think is how you pronounce her name. And the three of them start to get through the trials. I can't talk about the second book without massive spoilers for the end of the first book, so I won't talk about it. And then, of course, Six Scorched Roses is a side story about a vampire named Vale and a human woman named Lilith, as Lilith goes to him to get his blood, so she can create medicine for her plague-ridden city. Their story, the whole thing takes place in the human countries, which was interesting to see. But Vale, primarily Vale, but Lilith is there, but Vale shows up a lot in the second book. So, what do I say about these books? They were good. I mean, I don't really have anything bad to say about them. I think the problem for me is that I am getting burnt out on romantasy, which is wild to me because for a while that was all I read, which might have been the problem. Obviously, since I started this channel, my whole thing has been I'm trying to expand my genre horizons. I'm trying to read more than just romance and fantasy and romantic fantasy. And I think I've done pretty well with that. But when I was first getting back into reading, before I started the channel, before I decided to do my 100 book challenge that I'm doing right now, I basically only attached to romance and romantic fantasy. I didn't want to read anything that didn't have a good romance in it. So I think it's just kind of gotten to the point where I'm okay, I've read too much of this, because there was nothing objectionable about these books. There was nothing that in fact, I actually really liked some parts of it. Especially, I really liked the father-daughter relationship between Vincent and the king and Oriah, because it was so complicated. Especially in the second book, Oriah really struggles with trying to reconcile her father who loved her and the vampire king who thought as she was human, she was weak. And that was really interesting to see her go through and try and figure out. And that was frankly pretty unique, to have that father-daughter relationship be such a big thing. And especially for me, who has not a complicated relationship with my dad, but with my biological mother, yeah, I get it. It's hard to reconcile that sometimes, But yeah, I'm rambling because I don't have a script, but I don't know. I liked them. I will continue to read the Crowns of Nixia series. I am glad that I put the next duology at the end of the summer. I think I'm reading them in August is the plan right now. I'm glad because that kind of gives me time to breathe away from fantasy romance in general. Hopefully. I know I don't have anything on the agenda this month that's fantasy romance. Though I do have a YA fantasy series, but yeah, I don't know. If I remember correctly, I gave both of these books 4 stars. I gave Six Scorched Roses a 4.5. Because honestly, I actually really like that one more. I liked that the story was more contained, and it was very snappy. We got through it. But yeah, so that is all the books that I read this month. So let's talk about which one was my favorite and which one was my least favorite. I'm sure you can guess. So, to no one's surprise, my favorites were definitely the Heaven Officials Blessing series. God, I was so invested in these. I was just tearing through these, wanting to know what's coming. They're just so good. I was like, in New York, like, we need to go to, oh, what's the bookstore's name? Kinokuniya. We have to go to Kinokuniya so I can see if they have these. And they did. They had 3 of them. But yeah, so I plan on, as I said, ordering the other deluxe hardback special editions over time as I can, and I will certainly be rereading it over and over. It's even actually got me to look at the author's like other series, and I've started watching the anime for Grandmaster of Demonic Cultivation, and I have the first book on the way, so I am excited. As for least favorite, not super surprisingly, I would say Arcane Inheritance. I was so disappointed in this book. You know, like, it was just so meh to me. And I wanted to like it a lot more than I did. 'Cause the characters were good. The characters were definitely the highlight of things. But I didn't like the ending at all. I couldn't get on board with the magic system. Yeah, I just didn't love it, unfortunately. But with that done, let's move into the top 10. Did any books make it to the top 10 this month? Sure did. Sure you can guess that. So usually I talk about what my prior month top 10 was before I talk about the current month. Unfortunately, when cleaning up my computer, I accidentally deleted that. So here we have the top 10 books as of May. So we have A Theory in Dreaming at number 10, Half a Soul at number 9, A Study in Drowning at number 8, In the Dream House at number 7, the first 2 books in the Iron Widow series at number 6, the Shepherd King duology at number 5, Word Slut at number 4, the Hierarchy series at number 3, A Stage Set for Villains at number 2, and our new number 1 slot, we have the Heaven Officials Blessing series. So, what can I say? We have a new number 1. This is the end of our May wrap-up. I know it was late, but thank you for watching. I will do my best to have the rest of the months on time. Hopefully, I don't think I'll be in tech for the rest of them. So, thanks for hanging out with me as we talked about last month's reads. Leave a comment if you want to chat more. And as always, I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye!